Hello, everyone. We are here in Tennessee on location at the house that we've been talking about, investigating for about 7 days. So tonight is the first night, and we are kind of just getting set up, kind of getting the lay of the land. We're on the main floor, setting up the camera, setting up some devices. We did an EVP session earlier, and we think we got a yes.
Yeah,
is that
possibly.
right?
Yes,
Possibly got a yes as an EVP. So we shall see. And one of the people that I want to reach out to here is Stanley Mullins, I believe. Yeah, Stanley B. Mullins. If you are here, can you come down the stairs and talk with us?
And just let everybody know that behind me, I don't know if you can see it. There is a ghost meter. Granted, they're not all that expensive, but they're very
good
visual
devices.
and they're very audible.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we have it here. We also have the Epic Box back here. It's one of Ghost Gear's designs. Tell a little bit about that, Robert.
That's actually the Piccolo. That is the EMF music box. So it's a 3-axis EMF detection device. And you can set the sensitivity and you can set the volume on that. And, when it detects EMF, it plays music. So that's what we're hoping to hear.
So hopefully that'll go off. Be nice if it goes off when we're live.
That'd be great.
Be awesome. And then above that is what'll make somebody, make a movement in their pants is the vibration sensor. It physically has to be touched. It doesn't rely on EM or anything. It has to be physically moved or manipulated. And if it does, it'll begin to scream like hell.
It's very loud.
I used it a lot at the Stagecoach Inn. I had great results out of it. We're going to see what happens here. The reason I'm using it is because the individual that was doing the construction here felt as if he could hear people walking around. He felt like he wasn't alone while he was working here. He was asked straight out. He says, from the owner, says, what, do you think the place is haunted? And he kind of chuckled and said, no, it's not haunted. And he says, well, it could be. So that's kind of where it's at. He just felt as if while he's here that he just feels uncomfortable. And that sounds, voices,
footsteps. They hear voices murmuring that sounds like a conversation in the other room. So he would go looking for somebody and there's nobody here. Same thing with the footsteps, which I can understand because this is an old house. It was built in the 1900, I think 1901 exactly, and the floor is just that old style hardwood floor, and you can hear the walking if there's walking going on.
Yeah, you most definitely could, especially if somebody had hard sole shoes.
Right.
They would most definitely hear somebody walking around, and that's what we're hoping to capture. We're hoping to prove that there either is or isn't some kind of paranormal phenomenon going on here.
Right.
We're going to be running these cameras. Well, hopefully running these cameras for our entire duration here, which is close to 7 days. One of them, I forgot one of the power cords for it. So I got to run it off of batteries all the time, which is fine. I just got to keep track of my battery power. But the plan was just to let them run until the cards would run out. I've got 2 cards per camera, just about 7 hours of recording time on each camera. I got this FX205 running right now in another room, synced up with this one. We have another camera that's looking at another ghost meter, as well as a motion sensor, just in case something would happen to walk through the room. We're pretty much going to wire this place from top to bottom with every device we have. Several motion sensors, the ultrasonic motion sensor, which Ghost Gear has designed. This thing's really cool. It sees like a bat. It basically sends out a signal and then if it sees something, it bounces back. I think you're all familiar, and just explain to me if I'm wrong, but you're all familiar with those like Roomba vacuum cleaners. You know, if they see things in front of them and they move out of the way. This is kind of the same kind of technology. If it sees something, it just kind of goes into an alarm. It'll start beeping, and it'll actually show the distance in which it is seeing something, 12 foot, 4 foot, wherever it's seeing that, and it can't have any false indications by it.
Right.
And quite honestly, you don't know how it works.
I don't know how it works in the paranormal, not at all, because there are other devices that use it, like the paranormal music box that uses ultrasonic motion detection as well. So I don't really know how, because there's no mass for a spirit for it to bounce off of, but yet it works. I've had a lot of success myself, and a lot of people reported that they use it with an SLS camera, and as soon as a stick figure pops up, it goes off as well.
And I can validate that. I was with Dr. Rebecca Foster at the Haunted YMCA in Rock Island, Illinois, and that ultrasonic motion sensor was seeing something, and she was actually operating an SLS camera and was seeing something with it as well. That both of them were collaborating each other as far as what they were seeing. So that's going to be interesting. And here as well, we're going to be using SLS camera.
That's right.
In conjunction with the ultrasonic motion sensors.
Yep.
So that's kind of where we're at. We just kind of wanted to jump in here, do a little live. I can't see the PC from here. It's hooked up to the Canon FX205 right now. I'm going to move it around a little bit just for a second. That way you can kind of see it, get a little bit of a landscape of what the house looks like.
Get up out of the way, if I can.
We're old.
That was me.
Yeah, that's it's going off. All right, it'll cycle and stop. Boy, that thing is loud.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a room in here. Every room in here, I mean, it's really ornate in design. We just love those columns and those pillars. You're going to see there's not a lot of area that we're working with, but there's another room back here. You can kind of see the Canon sitting here in the corner doing its thing. I got the motion sensor on that. I don't think you can see it or not. There's a fireplace back in there, and that tripod has a ghost meter sitting on it right in the middle of the room. My thought is, I'm going to walk in here. Well, that motion sensor might pick me up. I'm going to shut that off real quick. Excuse me. I don't mean to be blocking the. I need to shut that off. I think it's off. Okay, this ghost meter right here is basically setting right in the center of this room. There's a doorway here, a doorway here, a doorway there, and in all theory, well, a doorway over here actually too. So this is kind of a junction. You know, a lot of us, you know, maybe some of you are deer hunters or hunters, and you kind of know, you know, when you go hunting where the food plots are, where the bedding areas are. Well, I'm kind of in that cross intersection of where the bedding area is, where the kitchen area is, and where the living quarter or the living room area is. This is kind of an intersection right here. So my thought is by using the ghost meter, if something would walk through this area, this camera that is their second camera is on me now will capture this go off. So, and it looks, it's audible. Again, I'll just kind of, that's what it'll do. I got a motion sensor sitting up here. I think it needs fresh batteries in it, Robert. I really do.
Oh, okay.
It's up here on the mantle of this fireplace. So if anything would come through here for that extra little bit of validation, if the meter would go off and I would also get the motion sensor at the same time, that'd be just awesome. I mean, that'd be just epic if that would happen. We're going to try to film throughout the entire house for the next 7 days. That's the plan. providing we get any activity. If there's no activity, there's no sense of going a full 7 days. But we're going to throw everything we have at this place and hopefully catch some kind of paranormal phenomenon. Again, earlier in the evening, we did some EVPs, and we think maybe we caught a possible yes. But Robert got to put the headphones on. We're going to fire up the Audacity, and we're going to see if that's actually a thing, if we actually caught it. You want to come in here, Robert?
Yeah. I got a battery for you.
Can you change give me the battery and I'll let you talk?
All right.
Well, this actually takes
Oh, it does
double A's.
Okay.
A whole bunch of double A's.
All right.
I'll go grab those.
All right. So yeah, we've got some things set up. We don't have everything set up for tonight. It's the first night we're kind of getting used to the building and the natural noises that it makes and the sounds that are outside. You know, we could hear some cars driving by every once in a while, and there's a neighbor that's got some dogs that'll bark. So, you know, we're getting used to those sounds as well, so that we can tell the difference between what is natural and, you know, what is maybe supernatural here inside the house. But today, like you said, we're just kind of getting lay of the land. We're laying out some basic fundamental traps. I call them traps, you know, like we've got the ghost meter here that will hopefully catch anything that comes through this room. And then, you know, once we figure out where a lot of the activity is, then that will help us to zero in on where we want to really do a lot of the investigations. So for me, for some reason, my attention keeps being drawn upstairs. I don't know why, but upstairs kind of gives me the creeps in my eyes every time I walk by the stairs. I look up there. So I don't know if that's anything or just me, you know, in my mind, the way that it works. I don't know, but we'll find out. Probably tomorrow we'll do an investigation upstairs. Tonight we're just keeping it on the first floor. And, you know, like I said, as we kind of get used to the environment that we're in.
Well, part of the thing with Robert is the floors are a little squishy. They're a little uneven. And I think it's creating what I refer to as a funhouse effect.
Yeah.
And that in itself will kind of give you a creepy feeling.
Right. Yeah, the foundation of the house is settled or adjusted. So some of the, and also the home, you know, there are additions to the home that were added later, and they're not even with the rest of the house. So it does kind of give it that fun house feel to it.
It definitely does. The basement is another place that we're going to investigate. Oh boy, the steps are just almost like a step ladder. Literally, they're just almost straight down.
Right.
Really difficult to get down there. Once you're down there, it's pretty easy to get around, but it's just a case of getting the equipment down there. So that'll probably be one night's investigation. Is that is the basement.
Right.
Simply because it's just too dangerous to traverse them all the time, to go up and down them. And there are some old mason jars down there.
There are.
And
With
they've
stuff
got
in them.
liquid in them. And some of it looks like it's out of Boris Karloff's basement.
Right.
You know, I mean, there's
Looks
some stuff in there
body
that
parts.
almost looks like a fetus. He said he thought maybe it was potatoes or something, but I don't know. It was definitely pretty bad. It was gnarly.
It's been there for a while.
It's been there for a long while, and hopefully at some point you'll be able to see what we're talking about. But we're really hoping. I'm hoping actually not to find anything. I mean, that's just how I work. I would rather find an explanation to all the concerns. But if there are concerns here, if we do feel there is some kind of activity, the owner doesn't want it here. So I will have Father Ruben Lopez, who is he's a priest with the Catholic Church. He is also an exorcist. He's been an exorcist for over 40 years. I will call him. We will put him on the Bluetooth speakerphone, and he will do a blessing and basically an exorcism over the phone, and that will be live. As far as I know, if Father Ruben Lopez feels that it's too dangerous, he really feels that these things can find their way through electronics. He's adamant about that. He says these things can find their way through electronics. And if that's the case, they could find their way into somebody's home. I mean, who knows? I mean, I don't know. I'm just guessing. But he's pretty strongly minded about that. So that's kind of where we're at right now. I'm looking at this meter, and
that chirping sound you hear, we've got two old fire detectors, fire alarms.
smoke detectors.
Smoke
The
detectors.
batteries are low in them or
Yeah.
something, and they're chirping. So
We're going to take care of that later.
yeah. But all in all, the house does have a creepy vibe to it. At some point during the 7 days, I will be sleeping in here all night long. But for the most part, the cameras will be running all night. They may shut off at some point, and then we'll have to reboot them the following day. But we're going to keep these things running for as long as possible, day and night, to try to capture whatever activity is going on here. So stay tuned. I'm going to go over here, Robert. You
Okay.
say your final goodbye.
All right. Well, everybody, we appreciate you watching, and tune in, hit the subscribe button, and that way you'll be notified of future videos. We will eventually in the future put this entire 168-hour investigation onto YouTube, so keep an eye out for that as well.